Today, we're going to talk about an issue that isn't often discussed, but is actually pretty serious and can affect all of us. We're going to talk about financial scams against senior citizens. In 2015, the total number of fraud complaints in the United States was over 1.5 million, and the total loss from these incidents was over 1.7 billion. In 2015, phone is the main medium through which scammers contact their victims. It is also the type of scams that we're going to focus on in this project. Out of those 1.5 million complaints, 37 came from those over the age of 60. This almost certainly understates the extent of scams against senior citizens because scams from this demographic of victims are greatly underreported. At the moment, 19% of the US population is over 60. The issue looms larger as our society ages. So, what makes senior citizens vulnerable to financial scams? We learned from subject matter experts that there are several key factors behind this. Having more savings, being lonely or isolated, being too polite or too ready to trust people, the tendency not to prosecute, and the higher incidence of cognitive impairment and dementia.
To learn more about this issue in detail, to build empathy, and to explore opportunities, we conducted field visits and in-depth interviews with 5 senior citizens who have experienced financial scams, as well as 5 family members of victims. One of the key insights is that family members are actually the ones most concerned about their senior loved ones being scammed. And this is due largely to the lower awareness of financial scams among senior citizens. For instance, in our user research, when we asked one of our research participants from 1 to 10 how concerned you are about your mom who is 80 years old being scammed, and he gave us an 11. He also said that it isn't an immediate concern of hers because she doesn't think she would fall for it. This is where the gaps appear. Family members lack the time to constantly keep an eye on senior family members and make sure that they are not falling victim to scams. Seniors, on the other hand, desire independence and do not want to be a burden. Unfortunately, existing solutions are not ideal. For example, according to our research, the main solution is to have social workers visit senior citizens and increase their awareness of financial scams. However, it is difficult to implement at scale. Other solutions include call management services such as Truecaller. However, this is not mainly designed for senior users, and it only tells users that the call is identified as spam. Senior citizens are still able to pick up the call and talk to scammers. So, this gap led us to our design question: how can we protect senior citizens from financial scams and at the same time reduce the burden on family members? After 2 months of ideation, prototyping, and user testing, we are proud to introduce Voyce, an AI system that protects your senior loved ones from phone scams. We also would like to introduce Joyce. Joyce is the AI assistant within Voyce. She will be the one to interact with different stakeholders and users. We believe Voice can make a big difference in helping people like you and me protect our loved ones. Now we will present a video to show how Voice works.
This is Brian. Being a successful architect, he has his hands full with a family of 4, caring for his mom who lives far away, and a demanding full-time job. His team needs his help, and so does his mom. This is where I can help. Hi, my name is Joyce. I help Brian protect his mom from suspicious callers. I have a growing database of fraudulent callers and numbers. Any recognized scam calls are directly blocked. I direct unidentified calls to voicemail. I analyze these messages using a sophisticated machine learning algorithm for any suspicious content and caution her before playing the message. Hi, Dorothy. You have a voicemail from Richard Williams regarding unpaid taxes. Based on the information provided, I feel that the call is suspicious. Would you still like to listen to the voicemail?
Yes.
Okay. Please proceed with caution.
Hi, this is Richard Williams from the Federal Investigation Department.
That was the message. Please do not worry. It is unlikely the IRS would call you. The IRS only contacts you through mail. I advise you not to return the call. Would you like to end the conversation?
Yes.
I also notify Brian about each suspicious call his mom receives, including a scam score, suspicious words, recorded conversations, and suggested actions. I'm here to keep an eye out on Brian's mom and protect her when he cannot, so that he can have peace of mind. I can help protect your senior loved ones too.
Okay, so there are 4 components of Voyce: a cloud-based scam database that identifies calls and fraudulent phone conversations, a senior-friendly voice interface that cautions senior citizens, as well as an app that alerts family members. So how does Voyce work? Trigger words are the key factor in the detection of these fraudulent conversations. A fraudulent conversation might contain words that imply a sense of urgency, asking for personal information, and offering incentives. For example, wire transfer, credit card, and free offer are some of the key words. Voyce gives each call a scam score based on factors such as the percentage of trigger words in the conversation, the amount of users who have reported the caller, and the location of the callers. And in order to enable senior citizens with landlines to use the service, Voyce's device converts landline to voice over IP or VoIP and connects to the cloud. The second piece handles the interaction with callers who are trying to reach senior citizens. The AI assistant Joyce handles all incoming calls for senior citizens. She identifies and analyzes them. Calls from identified scammers will be directly blocked. We learned that once senior citizens start to talk to scammers, it's difficult to pull them out of the interaction. Therefore, unidentified calls will be directed to voicemail to minimize any interaction between senior citizens and potential scammers. The design principle here is to minimize user input. Most of the activities should happen in the background and require no awareness from the senior user. When interacting with senior citizens, the key features include cautioning them before and after they receive potentially fraudulent phone calls and prompting them with next steps. We've learned that senior citizens might interact with Joyce differently from what you expect. For example, in the user test, we found that senior citizens interact with Joyce as though they're talking to a real person. They often say, okay, yes, while Joyce is still talking, and say thank you after Joyce completes an action. Therefore, the interaction model is designed based on seniors' conversational habits and should be simple and intuitive. For family members, Voyce provides an app to guide them through the onboarding process, helps them customize settings, and sends notifications when senior citizens are having conversations with potential scammers or receiving suspicious voicemails. Since we learned that family members prefer to be notified only when necessary, the design principle here is to provide critical but manageable information. This is an example of the onboarding process for family members. This is where family members can select the level of security they prefer, and this determines when Voyce alerts them and when it does not. This is a notification screen and sample notifications that a user would receive. They can click on each one to see more details, which include a scam score, recorded voicemail, specific trigger words, explanation of possible fraudulent activity, and suggested actions. Moving forward, we plan to collaborate with organizations such as banks, telecommunication companies, internet phone services providers, the IRS, Medicare, and senior centers to provide access to our product and to better cater to their needs. With Voyce, we hope that there will be fewer victims of financial scams and that family members will know when they can't be there, Voyce will be. Thank you, and we are happy to take any questions.